I'd really like to learn about money-wise and also where to look for property.
So what brings you here today?
Well, I guess we want to just learn as much as we can about the property market because we'd like to invest as much as we can and set ourselves up for a future.
What sort of future?
I'd just like to be, we can fend for ourselves nicely, not have to worry too much about bills and mortgage.
You want to invest in property, yep, and you're choosing property as your vehicle for creating wealth, yes? Yeah. All right. Why? Why not shares?
Well, I think property's probably a bit safer than shares, to be honest. It seems a little bit more stable, and Carl's also a builder by trade.
Great, so excellent, good.
My ideal job would just be working for myself,
Yeah.
doing speckies, so buying a house, renovating, and then selling in the future.
Yeah.
And if we come across that house that is our dream house, we'd like to hang on to that and keep investment properties as well.
So buy, renovate, sell.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I think that's where I'd excel.
So what does your end game look like? Now you've said not greedy, wanting to just cover yourself from bills. Do you know or have any idea of what that might be?
We'd obviously like to be self-funded retarees like everyone,
Yep.
and I think a safe way of having that future would be to have properties up your sleeve that you can sell every year or two once you get to the retirement age. That's sort of what I had in my head. Is that the same with you?
Well, I suppose it's just, I guess normally, I know throughout my life things are just kind of played out as you go.
Yeah.
So, but I do, you obviously always have your set paths. Well, I know I always have, Phoebe's always had her goals. And I would love to our goal would be to get our first house hopefully next year.
Yep.
There's kind of a grey area in between there, what we should do then.
Okay.
Because we're both living at home, we can both still live at home and tenant the house out.
Yep.
And that can pay itself off while we're still saving at home.
In order to have a lifestyle that you want where you're not required to work, you need to figure out then, in essence, what the passive income is that you seek, and then we can work backwards into what size asset base you need.
Yeah,
Yeah?
okay, understood.
And then once we've got the asset base you need, we just then create a roadmap to that asset base. So what are you earning right now?
I've only just finished my apprenticeship, so I haven't worked a full year on tradesman's wages, but...
I was on about 50, but I've just changed jobs, so
Yeah.
I'm not too sure what my new salary is going to be.
Okay.
So I'd say maybe combined about 100.
Yeah.
Potentially,
So
yeah.
all right,
That's
let's target
reasonable,
that.
yeah.
Let's target
Yeah.
that. So you're suggesting that if you're on a passive income of $100,000, you'd be pretty comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Calling then on an average interest rate over a long period of time, we're about 8%.
Yep.
So some amount at 8% will give me $100,000 passive income.
Mm-hmm.
That amount is $100,000 divided by 8% comes to $1.25 million. Given the fact that we want 1.25, then got a question. How far are we away from that, and when do you want it?
I don't really mind. I enjoy working at the moment.
Yep.
I'm sure in 20 years to come, I'll probably be getting sick of it.
I
but
think I would like it tomorrow. Let's be realistic. Maybe 10 to 20 years.
10 to 20 years?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I think that's
reasonable.
All right, so let's target 10 years. We need to work backwards from that goal to figure out what we need to be doing this year.
Okay.
Yeah, so that we got an idea. And that then gives us the scope for how hard we need to go this year in order to achieve our 10-year goal. Yeah?
Yeah.
Does it make sense that you're going to earn the same amount year in, year out?
Yes.
Why?
Oh, okay.
Yeah? Can you see
Things
why not?
change, yeah.
Things change and
Market changes.
you get better. Yeah?
Yeah.
What you what you don't know now,
Yeah.
you will know in 2 years' time. You'll know more in 4 years' time. Does that allow you to be more efficient with your investing?
Yeah.
Does that
Yeah.
allow you to do bigger deals with more profit?
Yes.
Yeah, right, okay. So you're not going to grow at the same rate every year. So it's not like you need, all right, in 10 years I want 1.25, I need 125 this year, 125 next year, 125 the year after that, etc. Yeah?
Yeah.
So on that premise then, we have exponential growth in what we can achieve over that 10-year period.
Yeah.
Great. Question becomes, well, what am I going to need in 12 months? If in 10 years I need 1.25, the approach, half-life, third value.
Yep.
Yep. So you're rounding down, let's say I need $400,000 in 5 years.
Yeah.
Achievable? Don't know. 5 years is a long time, a lot can happen.
Yeah.
All right, great. Half-life, third value. 2.5 years, third that. I'm going to need about $120,000. All right, so 120,000 is sounding a little more realistic and feasible, perhaps.
Yeah.
Don't know. It's not $1 million, is it? It's
No.
all right. Great.
Yeah.
1.25 years then. Half life, third value. I'm going to need $40,000. 40 I can see.
Yeah.
40 I can feel. Yes,
Yeah.
there's a. All right, that's 1.25 years. What am I going to need in 12 months? I reckon minimum $30,000. Yeah.
Pretty bang on then.
Yeah? If we go for $30,000 in the next 12 months, okay, here's the question. If I can achieve $30,000 in 12 months, so if you start your investing, we're coming to the start of a brand new year, whew,
Yeah.
Yep.
if you can achieve by the end of this next 12-month period $30,000 more through property, are you going to see a level of confidence about going again?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
There are basically 3 things that I believe people need to cover off before getting into property for the first time. How much time you've got, how much skill you can apply, and how many dollars you've got to play with. Yeah?
Yep.
If we can satisfy that then helps us select the strategy, and then from that we select the property and the area.
Okay.
All right, so finance, what do we got in cash?
About 10, 12, but you know, I've got to pay for insurances and licensing and a few other things.
Let's say 10 after
Yep.
a few extra costs.
Yep.
Yep.
I have about 10 as well.
About 10. So we've got about $20,000 right now to play with, yes?
Yep.
That's our deposit money.
Yep.
Okay, good. All right, what's our borrowing capacity?
That we haven't looked into yet.
No, haven't looked
Not
at it yet?
really too sure.
All right, great.
I can't say to be too much,
Well,
giving out assets, etc. But or is
assets
that,
don't determine borrowing capacity.
No?
No.
No.
Borrowing capacity is determined by your ability to pay it back.
Okay.
So your income. Again, we had 100 as a line in the sand here, but we're on about, let's say, gross 115-ish.
Yep.
All right. Banks historically have said, okay, take your gross and work on the idea that 30% of your gross income is a safe amount of mortgage repayment level. If you go beyond 30, you start to get into what they call the mortgage stress, depending upon your expenses and your living. Now, I don't know what rent you're paying living at home. It's probably quite low. That said, a mortgage broker will identify that and probably lend more than what I'm proposing here. But as a line in the sand, I'm going to go with a conservative approach first. All right, so on the premise that we're looking at 30% of your gross income, trust your calculator, 115 by 0.3 equals, so that's $34,000, $34,500 that you can put towards servicing debt. Yeah? Current interest rates would be what? What do you think you could get in a bank? Have you made any inquiries?
Is it about 6 or 5?
Somewhere between 5 and 6.
Yeah.
Let's go for a 5.5%.
Yep.
All right. On a 5.5% range, 34,500 divided by 0.055, so divided by 5.5%, means we can borrow about $620,000. And you've gone, whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah?
That's a lot
Right.
more than we expected.
Of course, if the interest rate is higher, you can borrow less.
Okay, yeah.
Does that make sense?
That does make
Right.
sense.
So 620,000. Okay. Your restriction then in getting into property is not your borrowing capacity. Your restriction will be the cash you've got to play with.
Yep.
Yep. So the deposit, in essence, is going to be driving what you can do with the property.
Of course.